Good day. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. We're the hostess with the mostest. I'm Jacqueline Charles, and I have Mariquita.
Mariquita, yeah.
Right, okay? Okay, y'all. You ever have that one person that they tell you that how to pronounce their name 50 times and you get it wrong 49, and then finally you say it in your sleep and you say it right before you meet them and before you have the conversation with them? That's what I do, okay? Because I want to make sure her parents named her a beautiful name, and I want to make sure I'm saying it right. So we had a conversation, and we were talking about aging because we're women of a certain age, and we were talking about aging. And you take it from there. You take it from there.
Well, I see aging discussed all the time in magazines or on the internet, but when I see it discussed, I get a bad feeling. I'm not getting a good feeling about aging, and I realize that we're in a country that is not celebrating the wisdom of age and how beautiful it is when we can recognize that and we can look at aging as something to be proud of and all the lessons that we've learned instead of something to be ashamed of. I mean, I feel like we should. So many of us believe, and they do feel ashamed of their age. And why is that? And that's what we want to talk about today. What's causing this shame-based age? These feelings of not good enough, and we have to try to change ourselves. We have to look younger, and if somebody says, wow, you look like your daughter, then wow, okay, well, I can feel good the rest of the day. So and we should feel good about how we look, how we are in our own skin, right? Because I think wrinkles are beautiful, and I have plenty of them, and I don't want to try to look 20 years younger. I want to be who I am and celebrate it because I love myself.
That was the key. I think that's the key point. You love yourself. So today, well, our platform today, we're talking about aging with purpose, right? And she hit on so many key points. I couldn't even take notes. So while she's talking, I'm like, ba 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 ba. And it's so true. The key point, and I think the takeaway is embrace who you are, love who you are, and don't look at another woman and judge yourself by her. And by doggone it, why in the hell? Yes, I'm fired up this morning. Why in the hell are we? If you're in your 50s, 40s, or 60s, or 70s, why are you comparing yourself with someone who's in their 20s, someone who in their 30s? Here's the thing. They should be thankful and prayerful that they get to be our age, right? We've done it, wore the t-shirt. We know we're here to tell them. Now, there's no disrespect in that we're having friends or acquaintances with people who are younger, because we can learn from them as well, right? But to hold them at beauty standards that, okay, I see so many women in Hollywood, and because of Hollywood is setting the trend and social media, what everyday women look like, I see women going into debt, borrowing from their credit cards, doing GoFundMe accounts just to get rid of the wrinkle. I mean, thank God I'm a melanated person that you can't see. But here's the thing. Even if I wasn't melanated, I am not upset if there's a turkey neck or whatever, because everything that I have, I've earned. Okay? If it's a stretch mark, gain weight, lost weight, if it's a stretch mark, if it's, like, oh my God. And I dare someone to tell me, and I'm saying that now because, Mariquita, I'm going to be honest with you. At one point, I was doing a lot, and the young lady pulled me aside and said, you know what? Maybe you need to get your nose done. Okay? It was an African American woman that told me that I should get my nose done, right? And she used to do my hair. And when she said that, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting fillers. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. When she said it, and I'm like, I don't think she's leading me down the wrong path, but does she think I'm going to use the word pretty enough, or if I got my nose done, I'm going to get certain things. And then it seemed like I slapped myself in the face and didn't realize I did. Like, wake the hell up. Like watching that show with Cher when she slaps Nicolas Cage in the face and she says, wake up. You know, that I had that epiphany moment like, don't you dare let a person, particularly a woman, and I don't care what ethnicity, but she was a black woman, tell me what I need to do with my nose or any of my body parts because you're telling me I'm not enough. And what you're doing is, thank God I had a little bit of I have a lot of self esteem because if I didn't, I can see going down the rabbit hole because then it would have started with the nose, then my boobs, because I do have some stuff, and it would have gone on and on and on. So when do we stop? When do we listen to what people say and turn down the voice? For me, it felt really, because this is a woman I looked up to, and for her to tell me this, it left a bad taste in my mouth. And then I started realizing she was getting fillers, she was getting this, she was getting that. And I also realized it's not, yeah, this is what you see, but it's my personality. This is the calling card, right? So you can be pretty, you can be beautiful, you can fix whatever you need to do. But what gets you in the door? This may also get me in the door, but is this going to keep me in the door? So what I realized, it's not this that keeps me in the door or in the rooms or a seat at the table. It's my personality. So we have to learn to love not just what we look like here, whether you're 200 pounds, whether you're 300 pounds, it doesn't matter. Yes, we have to be healthy, but you have to remember this is just the calling card. We knock the door. So that's what this is. This facade is what when we knock the door, they say hello or open up the door. They say, okay, let's sit down and have a conversation. But it's the personality that keeps us at the table.
Yes, and I really love what you're saying because what I'm hearing is, well, I love that you have confidence in yourself, and I can't even imagine someone telling me, "Oh, well, maybe you need to get a nose job or something." I mean, that really hurts. It makes me feel terrible. I mean, but then, I mean, when we have the wisdom to go past that and think like you did, to question that, do I need to listen to that, or do I have something greater inside of me that loves me, right? That's telling me, no, you don't. And that's what you listen to, that you're already enough. And so many women are struggling with this, I'm not enough. And I remember that as a young girl and living that for years and years and years. I'm not pretty enough. I remember that book. I don't remember, The Beauty Myth, or there were so
Mhm.
many books like that, right? And struggling. And then finally, now as a 55-year-old woman, it took me so long to let that go and to see women still imprisoned in these beliefs that society puts on us is so sad. So I'm so glad to talk to you, someone standing strong in who she is and what you look like, and loving that. It's beautiful.
And here's the thing, what women need to realize, beauty standards was set by men from Madison Avenue. There's so many advertising agencies that was on Madison Avenue, Fifth Avenue, that was setting up the beauty standards for the Glamour magazine, asking questions about sex, and if doing a lot of things, and this is what you need to look like. Back then, you didn't have voluptuous women on the covers, but you barely even had black women on the covers, right? But we didn't have women who were considered not pretty in the standards. Like you had the Christy Brinkley and all those women, and the Naomi Campbells who came in later on. But you didn't have the ones who were like, I guess, thick as we call them, or a little bit of meat on their bones, or their nose wasn't a certain way, or their hair wasn't a certain way. So now we don't, and then we had women who took over those roles and were perpetuating it, because then you were hearing models were eating cucumber sandwiches and things like that. But I'm not a model, so I don't expect to look like you. I just expect to be the best version of me. Now, let me tell y'all something now. Now, my confidence was instilled at a very young age by my grandfather. Oh my God, he put all of that in me. So I would hear guys say things to me, like, you're cute for a black girl, or no, you're cute for a dark skinned girl. Oh, that's a whole nother show. But it never, because I'm a reading rainbow, because I've dated all sorts of people when I was younger. So I didn't let it affect me, but I saw how some of my other girlfriends, it affected them really badly. And I realized if you're not instilled those things at such a young age, because think about this, when we were younger, I don't know about you, I was reading Elle, Glamour magazine, I was reading all Cosmopolitan magazine. I was reading all those magazines, and it was putting things in my head, but it wasn't enough where I said, oh, I need to do this, because it was all about too catering to our men. Like, this is what a man wants. You come home, you have to look, don't argue with him. And if he has another woman, this is what you need to do. I'm like, screw that.
Oh my gosh, I had forgotten about that. But you're right.
Yeah.
The magazines were like that every time, how to do this, it was a formula, right? And then every month we're like, well, we failed again. Here's a new lesson, right? And you're always trying to make yourself someone who you aren't, but someone that fits society's standards. And it's incredible. It's incredible when we look back at it now, that it was all about how to please your man, how to please the world, how to please, not ever looking inside yourself. And when you look at the models of the time, like you were saying, I mean, that, my gosh, it's glorified. This tiny little bodies were so glorified. And you're right, there weren't, like it is today, at least now, sometimes at least we're seeing other beauty standards, right, where bigger women are celebrated, and it's not just that one type that, oh my gosh, that no one could live up to. I mean, those are airbrushed. I mean, how in the world? And I love the models that are coming out today and saying, I never looked like that, right?
I love the fact that we have people like Goldie Hawn. We have people, so many women, the Sally Fields, and this is a woman that started it and didn't care. And I love her, Diane Keaton.
I love her
She
too.
she didn't care about the beauty standards. And, she says, I'm getting older, whatever. And she made a conscious decision. If people realize this, she reminded me a little, I'm telling you, I'm an old buff. And when I mean an old buff, I like, my father instilled old movies into me, classic movies, not old, classic movies into me. So that's one of the things he gave me that I love and I still cherish. Diane Keaton reminds me of another kick behind broad. Kate, who's with, what's his name? Katharine Hepburn, who she always wore pants. And if you notice, you rarely see Diane Keaton wearing skirts, right? And I think she did that as a conscious decision that I'm working in a man's world, in a man dominated field. I'm going to do or dress however I want to dress. And she consciously put that out there, and she marched to her own drums, right? And I love that. It doesn't mean because you're wearing pants that you're masculine, or you're wearing dress, you're more feminine. I think she was showing femininity in her way without wearing the half clothes and the breast out and things like that. And Goldie Hawn, the older she got, she wanted to show people. I don't know if she got nips, tucks, bow ties. I don't know. But I love her way of living and how she's doing things. She's doing it, as Frank Sinatra would say, I'm doing it my way. Those kind of things. We have the Halle Berrys, who's gorgeous to begin with. When she wakes up, she's just freaking gorgeous. And you have the Angela Bassett's, who I love, the Loretta Devine, who I love. I love these women because, especially in the African American community, we come in so many shades and hues that whether, our nose, because, the stigma was, if your nose is broad, you shouldn't have African features, and African features would mean your nose is broad, like mine. So you're African. It doesn't matter if you have Hispanic in your background or whatever the case may be. So, you and I decided to do this because we wanted, I think I mentioned to you yesterday, I feel sorry for right now people like Madonna, who's going through this whole metamorphosis of changing her entire body because she can't let go of what she once was, and she doesn't realize what she was is bringing to her what she is, and she is even better than what she once was. What is your take on that?
Well, you're so right. And it's very interesting to see people that are like, I see Andy McDowell, who's let her hair go gray. I love that, right? And then you're right, in contrast with Madonna, and you just see that, feel that internal struggle, and it makes me so sad. The pressure that the women that are in movies and radio and these filmmakers and concerts and everything, and the performers are under, it's tremendous. So I don't know what to say except for it's just very, very sad. And somehow we've got to reach our children when they're young, the little girls when they're young, to get these basic foundations laid so they will be confident to age at any level, any age, they're going to welcome it. And I remember reading The Bluest Eye. Did you read that?
Who's that by?
Was it by Toni Morrison?
I don't think I did. No, the blues. I
So,
don't think I did. No.
so there was a little African American girl, and she wanted blue eyes so badly, right? And I just remember just my heart aching for her, right? And just thinking that, I mean, as little children, I mean, I have my like little goddaughters that when they were 7 were thinking they were too fat. So we've got to get to the foundational level of teaching these young ladies so when they age, they're going to welcome it again. So they're not going to end up like these performers that are doing everything to their bodies. And then we're all watching and thinking, oh, well, then, and following by their example. It's so tragic.
And like when Whoopi Goldberg did her special on Broadway when she first came out, she did in one of her shtick and stick was she was wearing like a mop on her hair. It was like she covered her hair and it was supposed to be blonde because she wanted to be blonde. It wasn't how she felt, but it was one of the sticks that she was seeing around her where growing up you would hear blonde has more fun, redhead, they're fiery. But when if you have blue eyes, you have more advantage. Blonde hair, blue eyes, you have more advantage. Where there's this lady, and I interviewed her. Her name is Jane. Can't remember her last name, but she was a teacher. She's all over social media now, and she created a book. She started something in school and she separated because kids didn't know anything about prejudice or racism and stuff. And this is right after Martin Luther King got assassinated, unalive. Let me use that because I don't want you to do anything. Unalive. What she did was she separated the kids who had brown eyes and who had blue eyes. She treated the kids with blue eyes with, oh my God, you're wonderful, you're beautiful. Okay, you got a 60, you did a great job. The brown eyes, like, that's it. No, I'm not going to call you. I'm going to call this person. And you're the smartest person in the class. So then they're like, well, why are you treating the kids over there different? And wait a minute, they all have blue eyes. Why are you treating them different? This is not fair. And she says, that's what racism is about. And so they kind of got, her name is Jane, I think Jane Brown. I can't remember. She was on our show. She did a show on YouTube, but it's just phenomenal what she did. And she did this in the 60s when her life was on the line. People threatened to do things to her and her family. And she was just bold. Whenever I see her talk, she reminds me of the lady girl in the mist lady, but she was just showing people that, and she'll say, yes, I'm privileged. Yes, I'm this. Yes, I'm that. But back to, aging with purpose. What do you think? Because think about countries in China. Think about those Asian countries, how continents, how they, revere or held at great esteem the older generation. They don't need Google. They don't need Jeeves. They go to them and say, grandma, great grandma, and history. Why do you think we're not doing this in our country?
The way we think about the elderly. I know that we're not setting, again, we don't have a foundation for it because in the Okinawan society, I think remember this in the blue zones where the little children meet up with the elders and they they do things together once a week, right? And so it's a foundational level that we don't have. We've lost it. And I don't know, when did it go wrong is the question, right? Did we ever have that where we revered our elderly, or was that never part of our culture? Because it seems like that's been passed down through the generations of these other cultures. And so where did they get that, and where did we go wrong?
See, I think we had that at one point because, like, you know, when you go way back, grandparents lived with their children, right? Because I was raised with my grandparents. Grandparents, and then at some point now, all the elderly, the minute they turn a certain age, even if you're sick, your grandparents still lived with you, right? Someone took care of them. The entire family, the village took care of them. Now, the minute they have a little cough, we're shipping them off to a facility, right? And no one's really visiting like they should. So I think that culture is gone. But I remember reading a book, and it was so interesting, in an article about this, where I think it was in Africa. They saw that this was dying down. So someone built a bench in an area, and they had older generations sitting down at the bench, and the younger generation would come and sit down with them, and they would share stories, remedies, potions, history. And it turns out those older people lived longer because they had something to share with the younger generation. I don't know where it went wrong, where now we don't have our elderly living with us. They're disrespected. You see on social media, kids are doing things to them. Our elderly, some of them are eating dog and cat food because they can't afford certain things. They're in these facilities, no one's really visiting them. Where right now, it's if you have the money and you want to make more money and you're an entrepreneur, open up a place for 55 and over, because you're going to make money off of that, right? But when they live in those areas, that's why it's important for me, when I'm mentoring young girls, I like to bring them into those settings so they can talk, they can volunteer, read stories to them, so to kind of bring that synergy. So since we're talking about aging with purpose, what purpose have you found getting older?
Well, that's a very good question. That changes. Um,
Or at least right now, the point where you are right now in life.
well, my purpose, I mean, I want to live with a purpose, and I feel like my purpose is to be the best person I am for my planet, right? And so, and accepting who I am is the best way to do that, because that's going to empower me. If I accept who I am, I'm going to do a better job at everything I want to do and accomplish in the world, which is being a good example for others. And that means eating the best I can. And this is in all of my
Right.
lifestyle, right? Hanging out in the with the right people. So that, I mean, that's really what it is, my purpose.
For me, my purpose now, because it changes, the older you get, I now understand when I was around older people and they would say whatever they wanted to say. There was no filter. I think I kind of sort of didn't have a filter before, but now I have no filter. I have zero filter. I'm not to the zero filter where I'm disrespecting you. I'm at a point in my life now. If you have negative energy and you want to touch me, I have no problem saying, please don't touch me. I now don't have a problem opening the door and asking you to leave. I have no problem saying, I don't need to be in your space because you're negative. I don't have a problem. I am like you, want to live my life to the fullest. I want to have so much fun in the skin that I am in, the space that I'm in. I have no time for BS. I have no time for, because it's almost like I feel, once you hit your 50s, you're like, wow. You got to 50s. Then you have the other half of your life, right? I don't consider this my third chapter or fourth chapter. Like this is your third chapter because people normally it's in quarters. People think, okay, by the time you're in your fourth quarter, any day now you're gonna die. I'm not into that, right? So I think I'm in my second chapter because now I'm peeling off the skin. I'm now I know what I like, what I don't like, and I'm enjoying it. I don't mind. Like I didn't go to see Tom Cruise movie yet, and I'm like I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll go during lunchtime or after work or something. I'll go, but it feels. You know what? If it, as much crap that I've gone through in my life, and I've gone through crap, where I know it would have unalived other people. Okay, a lot of people would have offed themselves just walking in my shoes. So I know I'm a strong person, but I get strength from women like you. Just listening to you, see what you're doing, how you're living. You're living a simple, uncomplicated life. Life is really uncomplicated. Human beings make it complicated. If you know this person is not good for you and they're telling you, look, I'm a handful, I'm a hot mess, why are you going in their space and trying to change them? Or sometimes I'll meet people and women will say, I'm a bitch, calling themselves that. Like, Jackie, I'm a bitch. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Why am I here saying, no, you're not? No, you're not. You're telling me when people tell you, Maya Angelou tell you who they are, believe them. So if you're telling me who you are, I have no choice but to, because you should know you better than you, right? So, people like you, I just love your energy. We all go, just because we smile every day, that doesn't mean we don't cry, we don't have issues going on, but we get up, we get knocked down, and we get up. And that's what I'm going to say. I love and appreciate about you because we're building each show where you and I are building a repertoire, we're building communication and a friendship, girlship, so to speak. And I love that about you. And it doesn't seem like you're going to let things keep you down forever because you have shit to do. We have a lot to do in this damn world. Forget about our own space. We got a lot to do. I don't need a woman coming in my space or a man coming in my space complicating it. I got to kick it to the curb.
Well, yeah, we don't have time for that. We've got to be resilient, and like you're saying, um, just get back up and keep going. We got to live in alignment with our life. We don't have time to mess around. I mean, I messed around for years trying to be someone I wasn't because society didn't, I didn't fit the box. I didn't fit the standard, right? And I was miserable. And thank God I was able to see clearly. And now I live for myself and I make sure that my environment is clean, right? I'm not afraid to tell you that this is not working and this is not what I need in my life. And I'm getting away from that because I can't take it. I mean, who has time for that ever, you know?
That creates stress, high blood pressure, diabetes, all that stuff, and we don't need. So the things that I can control, that's what I'm doing. The things that I can't control, I'm limiting in my life because if I can't control it, meaning I'm not saying I'm a control freak, but if I see things spiraling out and it's not due to myself, I try to distance because I'm one of those. You'll see me here today, you'll call, tomorrow you try calling, you're blocked, deleted, all that, and don't know what happened, right? Because I don't have the patience for it because there's too much to be done. So we want to thank everyone. Please, 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 please make sure you send us an email, womenareworthy@gmail.com. Women, WOMENRARE, worthy@gmail.com. Let us know what other content you want to talk about because we're 50 and 50s and fabulous. So those are the people we want to talk to. Look, if you're younger than 50, we're not saying we don't want to hear from you, but we don't have enough voice for people in our platform, in our age range, 50s on up. We matter. We're the ones that's contributing to society with the money, not disrespecting anyone else, but we've been here. We're at our parents' age now where, when you used to like, oh, I can't wait to get to be my father's age. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to be, if you were to say, what age would you want to be? It definitely wouldn't be my teens. It definitely wouldn't be my 20s. I'm loving this. It feels like I walk with my head up and I'm walking with some sort of a strut to my whatever it is, put the pedal to the metal. I love this, Jackie. I really do. I love our group of people that we're bringing in. So please, if you have any questions, any concerns, or any topics you'd like us to discuss, please send us an email. Please follow, give them your social media as well.
It's Mariquita Solis, vegan empowerment coaching.
Your voice keeps going in and out. You're gonna have to repeat it. Your voice keeps going in and out.
Mariquita Solis, vegan empowerment coaching. I don't know what's going on with today.
I
You
don't
never
know.
know, but bouncing back.
Yeah. So, and I'll put that when I put it out there. So, and again, please follow me on YouTube. It's the Women Are Worthy Network. Follow me on IG, the Women Are Worthy Network. Facebook, the Women Are Worthy Network. So we're here, every Mondays. We're out and we're just going to be, and it's, when you see it, whatever day you see it, if you don't see it on a Monday, you see it on a Wednesday, we still welcome you. We want you to be a part of our platform because right now, again, this platform today is called Aging with a Purpose. The topic is aging with a purpose. And that we're going to be talking about things like that, things that impact our lives. So again, without further ado, we want to thank you for tuning in. You've been wonderful. Again, come on, share, subscribe, follow, reach out to us. Any parting wisdom you want to leave them with?
Just remember how beautiful you are.
I can't say nothing else. She said, "Remember how beautiful you are, because you are gorgeous. And from your hair, God created you. Every strand of your hair. If you don't have any hair, your baldness, your alopecianess, whatever, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. So, bye, y'all."